Hey guys, it's here from Tech, and with the new year just around the corner, there have been a lot of smartphone releases this year. In today's video, we're looking back at some of what we think are the best smartphones, and we can get them for no more than 15,000 pesos. Take note that the smartphones we'll be covering in this video were officially released in the Philippines throughout the whole of 2024. So if our under 10,000 peso list left you all wanting more 5G options, there will be a lot more in this one and the next lists to come. So without further ado, let's dive right in. Starting off with probably one of the best one in this list, the Infinix Note 40 Pro Plus 5G, which is one of the few all-around smartphones at the budget with the very capable charging technologies priced at right under 14,000 pesos. Packs a decent 4,600 mAh battery with support for 100 watt fast charging and even 20 watt of wireless charging. Users are treated to a 6.78-inch curved AMOLED display protected by Corning Gorilla Glass and a Dimensity 7020 chipset that scored over 450,000 points in our Antutu benchmarks. Available with 12GB of RAM and 256GB of UFS 2.2 internal storage, which seems to be plenty enough not to warrant a micro SD card slot. And on top of all that, there is a nice 6.67-inch Full HD Plus AMOLED display featuring 120Hz refresh rate and 1,300 nits of peak brightness. For optics, it's headlined by a 108-megapixel main sensor at the rear paired with a 2-megapixel depth sensor and macro cameras capable of up to 2K video recording. The front, you get a 32-megapixel selfie cameras, but you can only record up to 720p video. All in all, the Infinix Note 40 Pro Plus is a well-rounded smartphone for the cost of 13,999 pesos during its launch. Next, the older sibling to our first pick in our under 10,000 peso list is the itel S25 Ultra. It features a somewhat Galaxy-inspired look compared to its more Xperia-inspired younger brothers. The itel S25 Ultra boasts a 6.78-inch 3D curved AMOLED display that gets a 120Hz refresh rate and with peak brightness of up to 1,400 nits. It's also protected by Corning Gorilla Glass 7i, and the entire body only measures 6.9mm thin. Its performance is anchored by the Unisoc T620 SoC capable of up to 2.2 GHz clock speeds and configured with 8GB of LPDDR4X memory along with 256GB of UFS 2.2 internal storage. It's powered by the usual 5,000 mAh battery with 18 watts of wired charging. The camera system at the rear is headlined by a 50-megapixel sensor, a macro sensor, and an unspecified third sensor. In front, we get a 32-megapixel selfie camera with both front and rear cameras capable of recording up to 2K video. The itel S25 Ultra is available for only 10,499 pesos, making it one of the most affordable models on this list. Next up at 14,999 pesos is the POCO X6 5G. It rocks a 6.67 Full HD Plus AMOLED display that features a 120Hz refresh rate with a peak brightness of 1,800 nits along with Dolby Vision support. This means it's perfect for gaming along with watching your favorite shows. It sports the Snapdragon 7S Gen 2 chipset optimized for performance and efficiency and scored over 590,000 points in our Antutu test, topping this list. It's powered by the usual 5,000 mAh battery but gets 67 watts of fast charging support. For optics, we get a 64-megapixel primary camera, an 8-megapixel ultra-wide, and a 2-megapixel macro sensor. And for selfies, you get a 16-megapixel front camera. For video, it's capable of shooting up to 4K at 30 FPS and even gets steady video mode locked to full HD. Once again, the POCO X6 5G gets an official SRP of 14,999 pesos. Now, it's a bit more expensive, but just remember, Christmas is right around the corner and you can use those vouchers to get discounts. Next up is the TECNO POVA 6 Pro 5G. This guy came out in the first half of the year, boasting a 3D mecha design to cater to mobile gamers or users looking for a cyberpunk-like aesthetic, along with a cool, customizable LED backlighting. The brains behind the POVA 6 Pro's operation is a MediaTek Dimensity 6080 chipset, just like its predecessor. It's a 6nm SoC that features an octa-core CPU capable of 2.4 GHz clock speeds. It scored over 430,000 points in Antutu and is configured with 12GB of onboard memory and 256GB of internal storage with a dedicated slot for micro SD cards. Powering the TECNO POVA 6 Pro is a huge 6,000 mAh battery with a 70-watt wired fast charging rate. For optics, the rear is headlined by a 108-megapixel main sensor that features electronic image stabilization, followed by a 2-megapixel depth sensor and a third AI camera sensor. It features a 32-megapixel camera sensor in front for selfies, and for video, it can record up to 2K at 30 FPS. The TECNO POVA 6 Pro 5G launched for only 11,999 pesos. Last but not least is the Samsung Galaxy A16 5G. In some regions, it ships with the MediaTek Dimensity 6300, but here in the Philippines, we get the brand's Exynos 1330 SoC, which is a 5nm octa-core chipset clocked in at up to 2.2 GHz clock speeds. It features a 6.5-inch HD plus PLS LCD display with a 90Hz refresh rate and 800 nits of peak brightness. Configured with 8GB of RAM and 256GB of internal storage with micro SD card expansion via the hybrid SIM card slot. For the battery, we get the usual 5000 mAh pack with 25 watt of wired charging support. For the optics, we have a dual rear camera headlined by a 50MP primary and a 2MP macro, along with an 8MP selfie camera in front. All pretty boring, right? But the A16 5G makes it to this list purely because of the software. We get everyone's favorite One UI 6.1 here, with up to 6 years of OS updates, meaning this bad boy should still be working up until 2030. And that's pretty much unheard of in this price point. The Samsung Galaxy A16 5G is yours for only 13,990 pesos. And finally, we are at the last phone on this list, and it's the Cherry AQUA GR. A MediaTek Dimensity 7050 powered device clocked at up to 2.6 GHz clock speed, paired with 8GB of RAM and 256GB of UFS 2.2 internal storage. This phone scored over 530,000 points in our AnTuTu testing, making it the second most powerful device we've tested on this list. It does feature a 6.6-inch Full HD Plus AMOLED display that gets a 120Hz refresh rate, which is good enough for most general use. As far as optics, we get a 108MP main camera at the rear, accompanied by an 8MP ultra-wide and 2MP depth sensor. In front, you get a 16MP selfie shooter. For the battery, it gets a 4700 mAh capacity and with a 67W fast charging rate. All in all, we think it's a respectable device given its specs, but for the full picture, check out our review, which is already published on this channel or on the website, which you can click down below. The Cherry AQUA GR is available for 11,999 pesos. And that wraps up this list for our best smartphone picks of 2024 priced under 15,000 pesos. Which of these phones would you guys buy? Or is there a phone you feel that should have made it on this list? Whatever the case, share your thoughts in the comments below. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, do drop a like and subscribe to watch more. Also, don't forget to follow us on our social media platforms, Facebook, X, Instagram, and TikTok. And of course, visit yugatech.com for the latest tech news and reviews, and even the reviews of all the phones on this list. So, once again, this has been Jose, and I'll see you guys next time.